It's a wet afternoon in the capital and across the country. Hello, welcome to Newsbeat. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Here are stories making headlines this afternoon. Of ECG customers in parts of the country stranded in long queues due to their inability to purchase prepaid cards. We'll take you to some of the affected places. Later on the international front, Burkina Faso military junta have overthrown the ruling military junta as well. We have details coming up shortly. Stay with us. Welcome to the program. Several customers have queued up at various offices of the ECG in the central region in their quest to purchase credit for their prepaid meters. The customers say the network challenge experienced by the ECG has heavily affected them. Meanwhile, the Electricity Company of Ghana says it has been able to partly solve the challenge. Our central regional correspondent, Dakwasiado, has more in the following report.
Some of these desperate and frustrated customers say they were in queue as early as 3 a.m. and continued to stay in the queue even amidst the rains. For several days now, the ECG has not been able to sell power to both residential and commercial customers. Customers say the impact on their businesses as well as their homes have been heavy. The ECG has announced that it has partly solved the network challenge it encountered. By that, customers can only purchase power from ECG offices only, thereby creating long queues at such offices across the country. Meanwhile, some customers say the credit they've bought are failing to reflect on their meters. Here are some customers speaking to Metro News.
The problem is that I've wasted a lot of time here, and time is money. I cannot waste my time too much to come back again and wait for another queue, because I'm paying service, I'm paying money. I'm not taking it for granted, I'm paying money for it. So what I want to do now is that when you go there, they don't want to listen to you. They are giving other people the chance to register, whilst others are standing in the rain. Others are joining long queue from morning to evening. So as for me, I need peace. This thing should not bring any chaos between Ghanaians and other people who have good mind for this nation. So if our leaders will try and work on ECG, they should try and work on it, because it is a hard thing that we are going through in this country.
Now the prepaid is too expensive. 10 days, what am I using in the house? I'm not using anything in the house. Only the lights and one fridge and television. 10 days, 50 Ghana, 10 days, 50 cities. If there is any for, they should let us know. Or it's too expensive. Otherwise, it's too expensive. They should see it for us, please. So right now, I'm coming to buy 110 to try that one too. Otherwise, the 110 will be about 20 days.
Light and something of the 5 good days. Amount for the sum. Me jume mo say efie mi manu munda mi ankasa mi dan tuntuma wi mi sa. Baba ha 3 o'clock. I'm at 3 o'clock. Ana mi ye mi sala ana pawe ana mi asori wa.
It's too bad now. It's so bad. As you can see now, there's a rain coming too, and we are standing inside the rain. When the rain came now, that means we can't buy the prepaid again. Are you getting me? So they have to do any possible to start everything so that everybody will get a car.
Right, so I've been joined on the telephone lines by a resident correspondent in the central region, Dakwasiado. For more on this, Dakwasi, grateful to have you join me this afternoon. I mean, we've seen the frustrated customers venting their anger. What is the current situation now?
Okay, so the current situation is that we still have several customers queuing at the various centers of the ECG in their quest to purchase credit for their prepaid meters. these customers are quite frustrated and desperate because for some of them, they've been in queue since 3 a.m. Some of them went to the various offices of the ECG since yesterday, but have still not been able to purchase power. And they are telling me that they are in darkness in their various houses, and then they also have their businesses also being affected as a result of this challenge by the ECG. Now, what the ECG staff have been telling me is that they have been able to partially solve the problem, and that means the private vendors, we know, across the country cannot be able to sell prepaid credit to customers of the ECG, except that the customers would have to walk in to the various offices of the Electricity Company of Ghana before they can be able to purchase power. So it is creating quite a chaotic situations at the various offices of the ECG here in the central region. And now, quite apart from the fact that the problem has been partially solved, it also means that not all users can be able to purchase credit. It is only some persons who use some selected methods of the ECG that can be able to purchase credit. Now at the various offices also, it is not all the tellers that are able to sell credit to customers. They have just a few of the tellers who are able to do that. Quite apart from those who are still in queue trying to buy credit, some are telling me that yesterday when the ECG began resolving the challenge, they were able to purchase credit, but they are unable to load the credit on their meters, and that they have had to come back to be in queue for several hours. We do know that this morning we had quite some rains in the region here, and then even amidst the rain, some customers of the ECG were still in queue trying to purchase credits.
Has there been a situation where people have been in queue for more than a day or two?
Yes, there were people who were in queue since yesterday, and yesterday, according to the ECG, they worked longer than the usual hours supposed to work. They are telling that they closed as at around 9 p.m. yesterday. And so some customers who were not able to be served yesterday are back here this morning just to try and see whether they can be able to purchase credit today.
Right. There are some people who also have the smart meters where they can buy prepaid credit from their phone. Have you seen any such persons around saying that they cannot purchase prepaid through their phones?
Yes, so according to what an ECG staff told me, what it means is that those who use the smart meters cannot purchase credit for themselves unless they walk into the designated offices of the ECG here in the region for them to do so on their behalf.
Right. Akwasi Addo, thank you very much for that update. He's our resident correspondent in the Ashanti region, but in the central region rather. But the situation is not peculiar to the central region. It's across almost the entire country. Greater Accra region, Ashanti region, central region, and across the country, as I mentioned earlier. We tried to connect with Ifwa Ando, who is also on the ground somewhere here in the Greater Accra region, to see the situation on the ground. Earlier also, we tried contacting a rep from the Electricity Company of Ghana to tell us why this issue has persisted for that long. I understand Ifwa Ando is on the line right now. Ifwa, welcome to Newsbeat. Where are you at the moment, and what is the current situation on the ground?
Yeah, hello, Kenneth. I'm at the Achimota ECG district office. Terrible situation out here, long lines, confused people, angry people. The question most of them are asking is, why should this happen? I got here at exactly 9 a.m. because I'm also facing the same challenge. I've had no lights for days. So I came by here to find out if the problem can be fixed. But it looks like I'll have to deal with the situation for a few more days. So, Kenneth, out here, people are jostling their way through into the office, even though they've been told to join the lines. There are about 3 different lines, very long ones, I must say. Some were here as early as 2 a.m., but have still not been able to find their way into the office. The police is here to ensure orderliness, but it looks like people have ignored the presence of the police to fight their way through into the office offices of the ECG. Those being attended to now are those who used cards. The rest have been told to wait. For how long, I do not know, Kenneth. Little children and babies with their mothers will have to stay out here in the cold and the rains till they are attended to. But I spoke with the ECG PRO earlier, who said that people will have to deal with this for some time because they are still working to resolve the issue. It's a step-by-step process. They are starting with the districts. So those who use their apps and everything will have to wait till the issue is resolved.
Right. There are a lot of issues pertaining to these challenges. I, for one, a credit usually lasts me 60 days. Is now lasting me 11 days. I believe that there are people in the line who are also facing that challenges, right?
Of course, they are. There are people here. But when I spoke with Mr. Boateng earlier this morning, he said that he will advise that those who already have credit on their meters should go back home and allow those who don't have any at all to join in the queues, because then it will make the queues longer. So they're trying to clear the backlog, and he's advising that those who have some, because people come in here to just, top up. But he's advising that those people should go back home and allow those who don't have at all to join in the lines.
Right. Ifuando, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Meanwhile, the General Manager for External Communications of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Charles Ni Ayuku, has assured customers it is working around the clock to resolve all challenges with prepaid meters. He further apologized to affected persons for the inconveniences caused following complaints from customers across the country.
ECG is currently having a technical challenge which has affected its prepaid metering systems, making it impossible for customers to purchase electricity credit. We detected the challenge on Tuesday evening. So we started working on resolving the issue. Yes, some of the systems responded. So it was working. Customers were able to purchase credit, but some went down. So it has been generally unstable. Some, they were able to come, some were not responding. So on Tuesday, we made the announcement acknowledging the fact that some of our customers are having this challenge, especially on some specific meters. On Wednesday, that was yesterday, we also issued the statement regarding the vending challenges with the prepayment system. Yes, so as I speak to you now, we are working on it. Our ICT team is working to correct the anomaly so as to restore the system to normalcy. Yes, so currently we hope to, as I indicated earlier, some of the systems are working. I mean, they are not stable, they work, they come up, and you are able to make purchases. But we hope that all of these systems and the databases would respond fully. If we are not able, which of course, that's the unlikely event, if you are not able to get all of them or the situation stabilized, that is when we can look at the alternative. But for now, we hope to resolve it. We hope by close of today, because we've made a lot of progress. A lot of progress have been done. I mean, we made a lot of progress, but I cannot give you a definite time. Yes, so we apologize to our customers for the inconvenience caused by this technical challenge, and we hope to restore the system to normalcy as early as possible. We are very sorry, and we ask that they bear with us in this very difficult time.
Right, so what's the situation like in your area? You can follow us on facebook.com/Metro TV Ghana and share your thoughts with us. Now, in the meantime, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has directed the Forestry Commission to immediately halt the activities of Akonta Mining Limited's operation in the Nimiri Tano Forest Reserve in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region. A statement from the ministry said while the mining company has a lease to undertake mining operations in some parts of the area, the company has no mining right to undertake any mining operations in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve. The ministry said its records show that Akonta Mining Limited on August 25, 2022 applied for a mining lease to undertake mining operations in the said forest reserve. The ministry further directed the Forestry Commission to ensure that the company does not carry out any operation in the forest and to take the necessary action against any person found culpable in the matter. Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined on the telephone lines by the Communications Director of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Mining, Abdul Razak. Abdul Razak, thank you for joining me. So what do you make of this Akonta Mining Limited issue?
Thank you very much for having me, my brother. As small-scale miners, we've always been saying that the association has nothing to do, or the small-scale mining has nothing to do with forest reserves and water bodies, because we don't have, the law does not permit us to mine in river bodies and forest reserves. But currently, this Akonta mining issue have popped up, and it is time for us to act by so doing, because Akonta mining is a large-scale company. It's not a small-scale miner. The company is a large-scale. So if only government is giving permits for large-scale companies to enter into the forest, government must act. And now that the minister himself has issued a statement or written a letter that they've not given them any permit, then the law must take its course, because they've entered there illegally and they are mining in the forest illegally. So the law of this country must take its course so that the blame game on these small-scale miners will come to bear. Because always people have been criticizing small-scale, saying that we are destroying forest reserves, we are destroying the water bodies and what. Meanwhile, there's no law in this country which gives licenses for us to mine in river bodies and forest reserves. So Akonta mining is a classical example. Government must act for us, everybody, to know that they are ready to fight Galamsey.
Right. Government has halted Akonta Mining Limited's operation, all right. But what, in your opinion, do you think took government so long to take this action?
My brother, that is where always we have issues with this political will. Now that government have faulted their job, it shouldn't remain that they should go on to prosecute anybody who is culpable, because they've entered there without the notice of the Forestry Commission. They've entered there without the notice of government himself. So if government have written to show that they've not given them any permit, it's not only halting them, but they should prosecute, so that we know that, yes, it will show as a deterrent for others who are into these forest reserves and water bodies to be careful.
Right. Abdul Razak, glad you could join us this afternoon.
Thank you, my brother.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, has charged metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives from major mining areas across the country to lead the fight against Galamsey. At a meeting with them in Kumasi, the minister called for a collective effort aimed at bringing the activities of Galamseyers to a halt.
Even though mining in forest areas and river bodies is prohibited by the government of Ghana, it looks like illegal mining is in full swing in parts of the country. An anti-Galamsey task force dubbed Operation Halt 2 has within the week arrested and seized some excavators belonging to illegal miners in parts of the Ashanti and Eastern regions. But the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources cannot fathom how excavators and other mining equipment are moved to the forest on the blind side of the security apparatus, chiefs and the people in the community, including MMDCEs. During a meeting with the MMDCEs in Kumasi, in whose jurisdictions illegal mining activities are pervasive, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources charged them to help come to grips with the canker.
I'm just returning from Mansour Edubia, and I went to visit on behalf of the president the military men and women who were deployed to that district to clear the place of illegal small-scale mining. And I have witnesses, my deputy ministers were with me, media people were with me. We went to a Galamsey site, which has been rid of illegal small-scale mining. And I should tell you, the pervasiveness of that mining activity, that illegal mining activity, and the wanton destruction of the landscape of that area. And as a matter of fact, the number of, I will call acres, the number of hectares that have been mined out, it tells me a few things. First is that this operation did not begin a year, 2 or 3 ago, because we have huge dug out pits, which I have not, I mean, if I've seen those kinds of pits before, I've probably seen them in large-scale mining operations such as Goldfields or Anglo Gold or Newmont and the rest. It tells you that this is a place which has been excavated or mined out for many, many years. I'm not suggesting in any way that this will be done in connivance with these officials or these stakeholders or these actors, but certainly they ought to know about that kind of operation. So is it that I cannot also come to terms with the fact that the political head of the place, the DCE or NCE or whatever it may be, will feign ignorance of such an operation. It is too massive for it to be said that the various key stakeholders in respect of such mining operations will not be aware of it. I am not the person to talk about the adverse consequences of illegal mining, particularly as it relates to water bodies of our country, the water bodies of our country. I think it is known to all of us.
The minister vowed that those arrested will be prosecuted, assuring Ghanaians that the Akufo-Addo-led administration is committed to fighting against illegal mining. Henry Kwesi Bedu, Metro News.
Well, let me ask you, have you registered your SIM card already? Because the deadline for the SIM card re-registration exercise elapsed yesterday, 30th September 2022. In July, the Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu, in her own words, said she reluctantly extended the deadline for the SIM card re-registration exercise. My colleague Shadrach Odami Ejare visited some centers earlier yesterday and came through with a fuller report.
This is the MTN office. Earlier, I was on the Osu, Oxford Street, where we saw some people seated at the Vodafone office and then the MTN office, since they are almost at the same place. But from those sides, the people there are not so much like we saw in the previous days. But here, we have quite a number. I spoke to one woman early on who says she came in around 5:30 a.m. and after 6 minutes after 12, she was catered for. So that is about 6 to 7 hours later after her arrival. But from here, you can see a very tall line. You have the first phase from this side, and then you have the second phase where people are still in queue waiting for their turn. And then now it doesn't look like everything is happening inside the office, because we have registration personnel here outside who are trying to cater for the people queuing. So there's been issues earlier about network lagging, but now they've tried to ameliorate the whole situation, where we have different personnel situated at different vantage points catering for all the people you are seeing here in the queue. What time did you come here today?
Around 3
a.m.
3 a.m.
And what have they told you so far?
Oh, man.
Almost
network noon.
Almost network.
Network.
Say ana ko wie say.
Enchomo.
Nti say am to me en register mo there kra.
Dabi kra.
Na why your Ghana card?
My
why your Ghana card dada?
Yeah.
Nti who try say bedru so. But try first say.
Frame Nate.
Okay, so Nate says he came here at 3 a.m. today and he's been waiting to get his SIM card re-registered.
9.
I pay ya. Now, Oba and idea no catch.
Yeah, I mean, who sell line? Maybe I go see. I mean, besides sell line, so in. I mean, how much will be because now? Yeah, train.
Content there.
Yeah, kakra.
According to government, this re-registration is in a bid to harmonize data in different sectors of the economy. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications have cautioned that Unregistered SIM cards will be deactivated for failure to re-register within time. Shadrach Odame Ejari, Metro News, Accra.
We'll be back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The NDC communications team member Broja Jemfi says the recent incident, which occurred at the 2022 Global Citizen Festival, where some Guineans were seen hooting at the president, is an indication that President Akufo-Addo has failed Guineans.
It cannot be said that one political party mobilized its members to attend, such a concert and to embarrass the president in the way as it happened. So that's, accusation falls flat.
Okay.
It is never true. I'm not even told the few that we are told cheered up the president, whether they were also mobilized by the NPP to be there or not. But for me, this sends a signal to government. And the government is in self-denial. They are thinking that, we should just gloss over this. It's not an important thing. It's not a signal for us. And that is not good for government.
Okay.
I can tell you that the mood of the country today is not good for the president.
Tell me more.
If we don't take care, these actions are going to be repeated at public events because people are frustrated and they do not know how to express that frustration. Freedom of speech being curtailed, people are afraid to even speak. As if we are in a communist, kind of country where people are complaining to each other and the complaints are not, out there. And so when it happens like that, people find other means of expressing that anger.
Okay.
And for me, that is one of such actions that we saw at the Black Star Square.
Okay.
Contrast this with 4 years ago, the same Black Star Square. The president met hundreds of young people, launched NAPCO, promised young people jobs. Where are all these hundreds of thousands of people who gathered at the Black Star Square praising the president for launching NAPCO? Many of these young people were at the event. Out of frustration, they went there to entertain themselves. Government must consider this as a feedback and work towards, doing things that will please young people.
Okay.
And what are some of these things? Jobs.
Okay.
Everybody is talking about.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, Kofi Owusu-Nkansah, says the NDC does not have anything better to offer Guineans, adding the hooting incident that occurred at the event was orchestrated by the NDC.
Thank God for his blessings,
Please let him know.
But, I don't think the NDC, they are the right people to advise us on job creation.
Okay.
Because when President Mahama was in charge just 5-6 years ago, he told the young people of Ghana, he's not a magician to put money in their pockets. There was a freeze on unemployment, there was unemployment, and we are rolling out a lot of programs to ensure that jobs are created. We won this election, the last election, with over 500,000 votes. So I don't think there was any signal that Ghanaians don't like. President Mahama won with less than 300,000 when he won. Our list is higher than theirs. And we all know country is divided politically. There is a big percentage of the populace who always vote NDC. So it is not surprising to see a small section of people, booing at Black Star Square when the president once again has brought the whole world into the country through his programs and promotion policies to, increase our tourism revenue. Look at what has happened in the tourism landscape. From Year of Return, Beyond the Return, we had stars like Idris Elba, Boris Kujo, Naomi Campbell, Steve Harvey. These people have millions of following on social media. When they came to Ghana, they posted it on their social media handles and people followed.
Let's now take you to the eastern region because the Ghana Police Service says it has arrested 16 suspects in connection to a shooting incident at Asaman Tamfo in the region. A video making rounds on social media show men believed to be involved in illegal mining in a gun battle with authorities at Asam Tamfo. In a scary shooting, men wielding firearms could be seen in the video shooting at some individuals. Here are details of the police's statement. And it says the police have arrested 16 persons in connection with a shooting incident at Asaman Tamfo in the eastern region. The incident occurred between some persons believed to be illegal miners and a community anti-galamsey task force on 29th September 2022. Police have retrieved 1 pump action gun, 2 excavators, 2 water pumps and a battery.
Oraku, sit down. Oraku, sit down. Sit down. Oh.
Those were some gory scenes there. Let's still stay in the eastern region and speak to our resident correspondent, Kofi Ajay, for more on this. Kofi, what more can you tell us concerning this incident?
As a son, today I got the opportunity to talk to one of the environmental task forces. They were raising concerns about the help that the police used to give to them. For now, they are not happy, and why they don't understand why the police has given the arrested miners bail without their consent. Instead of the police holding the arrested people in the cells for them to be investigating and other things, they rather giving them bail and rather inviting the environmental task force to the police station to report to them, and they are not happy about it. For now, from them, they said the Ochehene Osajefo Amati Ofeponi has taken up the matter, and he is making sure everything will come down so that he will talk to the chief in Asaman Tamfo to find out what exactly happened and what is going on in the community.
Right. Were there any casualties?
No, it's only one resident who I've been told is part of the youth who tried to block the policeman task force after the operation. His car, which he used to block the road from them going away from the mining site, was destroyed. The task force shot into the cars and destroyed the windscreen and all the tires of the car. And that was the only one. That's the only thing that happened at this place.
Right. Has there been additional arrests to the 16 people who have been arrested already?
You said what? Come again.
Has there been additional arrest to the 16 people who have arrested already?
As I told you already, even the 16 people that were arrested, the day the incident happened, they arrested 24 people. When they were going to the court, they brought 16 people. And today, the leader of the task force was telling me that the 16 people, they sent them to the court yesterday, have been given bail, and they have left them to go into their home to report to the police on Monday.
Kofi Ajay, thank you very much. Now, residents of the Sekondi constituency have slammed their MP, Andrew Ejapa-Mensah, for his recent comment that he cannot solve all the constituency's challenges if he is given 100 years. The residents have vowed to vote him out in the next elections for his comments.
The Member of Parliament for Sekondi constituency, Andrew Ejapa-Mensah, has incurred the wrath of some residents of the constituency for publicly saying he cannot solve all problems in the area in 100 years. His comment follows concerns for the demand for accountability by a section of the residents of Sekondi. According to the public relations officer of the various youth group, Michael Grant Hayford, the MP has failed to fulfill his promises after 6 years of being an MP of the constituency.
We are asking the honorable member to make an accountability to the good people in Sekondi based on the promises that he made to the good people in Sekondi. That is what we are asking the honorable member. So I don't know why he come up by saying that in the first place. And if we give you 100 years, you can't fix our problems. Why are you not resigning? Why are you still on the seat? You need to resign. I have these flyers on me, which I can show to you. This is the promise that he made. He promised the good people in Sekendi. But none of them that he has been able to achieve. So he can't point something here in Sekendi that is the achievement of honorable member. No, there's nothing like that. There's no achievement here.
Some believe the MP overreacted when the youth group was demanding accountability.
He's a leader, so he shouldn't be talking like that in public. So all what we are asking for is for the accountability. We need to run account for the good people of Sekendi. We are not fighting him. We are a group, about 7 groups together. We have come together to collaborate with him so that he will run account for the good people of Sekendi.
Francis Ehinson is also a member of the pressure group.
The Sekendi youth, we are on it because the promises that he made, in which we followed him and voted for him, that is what we are demanding account for. Simple as ABC. We are not fighting the MP or his colleagues or whatever.
Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where some persons with disability in the Obuasi municipality have accused the assembly of hijacking a social center meant for them. They're calling on local government and gender ministry to intervene and bring a finality to the situation.
The Obuasi chapter of the Persons with Disability Association in 2013 initiated the construction of rehabilitation centers where their members would be trained on how to make footwear, tailoring, electricals, and other ventures. The rehabilitated center was commissioned in September 2021 by the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei Mensah. Addressing a press conference in Obuasi on Thursday, September 29, to drum home their concerns, the chairman of the association, Abdul Karim Idrisu, revealed that several attempts by the association to reach out to the MCE to give them approval to start their various training at the centers has proven futile. While appealing to the major stakeholders in Obuasi to come to their aid, the association said it will not relent in its effort to ensure that their members benefit from the center.
The Ecopan said, and then you are fit. I'm going to Ashanti, a BPA center in mine. Obi a regional minister in Penifor, any I him for 4 years by the BPA. Let's see the same before attack we attended. Affiliate Obuasi Penifor, a Obuasi Municipal Assembly. Ya more calling you now the choir. MC MFA, who could be Biamusia one hole. It did not be
Some of the aggrieved members of the association also called on the Council for Persons with Disability to come to their aid.
Yes,
AGA ena esimaye say ya ye ne disable am crampon make us a Ghana nyinada aye benya esonfaso ena yan kwate a MC say adano or did ama GGS.
Meanwhile, the Municipal Chief Executive Officer of Obuasi Municipal, Elijah Adansa Bona, has refuted claims by section of the Persons with Disability.
Business News is next. And in business today, politician and businessman Dr. Papa Kwesi Ndoum is urging government to support indigenous companies in the country. According to the businessman, no country has ever developed without the help of indigenous companies. He finds it distasteful that Ghanaian government's quest to help grow foreign industries is higher than building local ones.
Take firm steps to ensure indigenous Ghanaian control. And when I say control, I mean ownership, not just management or caretakers. Ghanaian control, ownership of the financial sector, banking, insurance, investment, pension, and others like these at all levels. It's a must. Why am I saying this? It's not because I've owned a bank or insurance company or investment company. No, it's not about me. It's about us, all of us. Because no country has prospered in this world by relying on foreign-owned financial institutions or the World Bank or the IMF. None.
Now, ahead of this year's Cocoa Day celebrations, farmers have raised concerns on the need for government to pay attention to the sector. They say they still live in extreme poverty and have no access to loans and scholarships.
Most of the cocoa farmers live in extreme poverty. In Ghana, for instance, it is estimated that the income gap is about 50% of the living income benchmark value. Cocoa production contributes to about 2/3 of Ghana's economy and cocoa farmers' income. In West Africa, self-employed farmers operate on small farms of less than 5 hectares with an average yield of only 400 kilos per hectare. Farmers in Dokotra in the Suhum municipality of the Eastern region complain they do not have access to loans and cocoa scholarship for their children.
Yeah, scholarship. Yeah, kind one million. We have been at who are Banu obey Sanka. It is scholarship party a man of the sea. Obi walk around Nikuku, where chiri. You bet Yanis or no Munana Banaponia. Now, why, yeah, Kuku, Dumano, Yemba, and Yebita.
Inadequate road infrastructure renders the transport of the harvest more expensive and further reduces producers' revenues. In addition to this, the provision of safe drinking water and sanitation is limited in many cocoa-producing communities. Some farmers have advised their colleague farmers to desist from that act because it destroys their land and water bodies in the community.
And that's it for business. Sports news is next. In sports today, CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe has arrived in the Guinean capital Conakry to finalize talks on the West African nation's preparations for the 2025 AFCON amidst political tension between the military government and the local organizing committee.
Confederation of African Football CAF President Patrice Motsepe was in Guinea on Friday as questions persist about the country's ability to host the African Cup of Nations in 2025. Motsepe was to meet the leader of the country's junta, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, before leaving in the evening, according to a program for the visit communicated by the Guinean Federation. Motsepe's visit follows one in early September by a CAF mission to check on the progress of the project. His trip had given rise to speculations that CAF will remove Guinea as host or postpone the competition to 2026 or 2027. Colonel Doumbouya has pledged that the competition will take place in Guinea in 2025, said Sport Minister Lansana Bia Diallo. Motsepe is due to hold a press conference in Algiers on Saturday after a meeting of CAF's executive committee. Organizing the tournament looks like a challenge for Guinea, which lacks sports and transport infrastructure. This would be the 35th edition of the competition. Guinea has never been the host. In March, Colonel Doumbouya replaced the old organizing committee, one of whose members had publicly expressed doubt about the feasibility of the project. Colonel Doumbouya issued a decree declaring the 2025 African Cup of Nations of national interest and a priority.
And for the EPL lovers, Arsenal is leading Tottenham Hotspurs by 2-1 in the North London derby. That's it for sports. Entertainment news is next. Ghanaian highlife musician Kwabena Kwabena has announced the release of his 5th album. The 18-track album titled Fanosa is slated for release in November. Kidi, D-Black, Sefa, Yautog, Tulenke, Kofi Jamal and Kwamina MP will make an appearance. Known for his superb skill in delivering love melodies, the highlife legend is ready to warm the hearts of many with the new single Sweetie scheduled for public consumption in October. English pop star Ed Sheeran has been ordered to stand trial in the U.S. over claims he copied his hit song Thinking Out Loud from Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. International news is next. Armed soldiers in fatigues and masks appeared on television in Burkina Faso on Friday night to confirm the ouster of President Paul Damiba, the second coup in the troubled West African country this year. The announcement capped a day that began with gunfire near a military camp in the capital Ouagadougou, an explosion near the presidential palace, and interruptions to state television programming. It is a pattern that has become increasingly familiar in West and Central Africa in the past 2 years as Islamist insurgents wreak havoc across the arid expanses of the Sahel region, killing thousands and eroding faith in weak governments that have not found a way to beat them back. Thousands of Russian troops are encircled in the strategic eastern town of Liman, a top Ukrainian military official says. The capture of the town would be a major new setback for the Kremlin's plan to seize the entire Donbas region. Overnight, President Zelensky said Ukraine would liberate all of its territory despite Vladimir Putin's declaration that 4 occupied regions are part of Russia. In an angry speech decrying the West on Friday, Putin claimed people living in those regions were now Russians. That's it for now. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.